Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping straight into what can only be described as pure, high-octane family drama.
It really is.
We're dissecting this incredibly intricate web woven around two families, the Karahans and the Yıldırım's. They're locked in this cycle of vengeance it's basically a war.
It's a war fought with secrets and identity theft, inherited trauma. It's all in there.
So when we look at Murat, the sources make him painfully clear. He was a killer, full stop.
No ambiguity there.
None. He was arrogant about it, said he punished a girl who needed to shut up. Just pure entitlement. This wasn't some kind of sympathetic villain.
And that entitlement is what immediately just rips his own family apart. The sources detail this agonizing moment where his sister, Mercan, is put in a completely impossible position.
Her mother, Nurman, is begging her.
Begging her, you wouldn't turn your brother in. It's that core conflict, family loyalty versus what is fundamentally right.
And Mercan chooses justice. She insists, I have to do what's right.
Which is a huge deal in a family like that.
It's interesting, though, that the Yıldırım's, for all their power, their first instinct is just.
Yeah.
It's a sloppy, panicked cover-up.
Totally unrefined. Their big plan is to fake his death and make it look like an accident. Then what? Smuggle him out of the country with a fake passport.
It just shows how vulnerable they really are.
Exactly. Their power is a mile wide and an inch deep. They know once the story is out, they can't control it. But of course, all that desperate planning, it all becomes moot.
Because Ateş makes his move.
He makes his moves.
And that moment, that reveal,
yeah,
it is just narrative gold. Just as Murat is dying, he leans in and tells him the truth.
My name is Tahir. I'm here to avenge my sister.
The entire plot just pivots on that single confrontation.
It's this huge emotional payoff for Ateş, but you have to ask, doesn't that decision put his whole long-term plan at risk?
How so?
Well, he spent years building this identity, infiltrating this family, and by revealing his real name, his real motive, he gives up the element of surprise against the rest of them. Against Haydar, who is arguably way more dangerous than Murat ever was.
Ah, that's the tension, isn't it? The difference between a cold, calculated revenge and, that deeply satisfying emotional vengeance he couldn't resist.
And the fallout is immediate. There's that great quote that just sums it all up. I detonated a grenade right in the lap of the Yıldırım family.
There's no way they'll get out of this unscathed.
But then this is what's so interesting. The sources immediately pivot to the conflict inside the Avenger himself.
It suggests the act of revenge, or maybe his new marriage to Mercan, is changing him.
It is. One of his own people criticizes him, says he's getting soft. He asks him, it's like there's a different Ateş in front of me. Where is the Tahir who is flaming with vengeance?
So the moment of his greatest triumph is immediately followed by doubt.
Instantly. If the guy running the whole show is starting to lose his nerve, what happens to the plan?
The whole strategy could fall apart.
Exactly. And this internal shift in Ateş, or Tahir, it just sets the stage perfectly for what happens next. Because if the Avenger is wavering, the victims, well, they're going to sense that vulnerability.
And they respond.
They respond with everything they have.
And that counter move, it centers around the funeral, which in this world is, well, it's not a solemn affair.
Not even close. It is pure political and emotional warfare.
The hostility is just out in the open. The Karahans are actively provoking it. You have Muzan, the matriarch, acting like, well, as one source notes, the funeral day is kind of a holiday for us.
That's such a calculated move. It's an overt display of contempt, and it's designed to push the Yıldırım's right over the edge.
And it works. Instantly. Nurman, Murat's mother, is already just destroyed by grief.
Of course.
And Muzan's presence just pushes her into this full-blown confrontation. She screams at her, you haven't killed, and still show up at his funeral.
And this is where Nurman's character makes a crucial turn. She doesn't just stay a victim, she channels that grief into something else.
Something sharp.
Very sharp. A precise, targeted vow of revenge. She blames Muzan for leaking the video, for sharing their address. She says that makes her just as guilty as the actual killer.
And her vow is terrifying. It's so simple. I swear I'll make that woman feel the same pain. The pain of losing a child.
It's not just an outburst, it's a declaration. The cycle of vengeance is officially continuing, and now it's mother against mother.
And while the women are fighting this emotional war, Haydar, the patriarch, is making his own moves.
Frantic moves. He's trying to save his crumbling empire, and that desperation makes him predictable.
We see him meet with this guy, Shahin, who proposes a risky deal. A good business deal involving shipments.
A deal specifically designed to get Hadar out of the tight spot. And Hadar, because he's so desperate, he just walks right into it.
He accepts immediately. He thinks it's his only way out.
But this is where you see the real genius of Atesh's long game. We, the audience, we know this deal is bait.
It's all orchestrated by him.
He's so meticulous, he even has to send a warning to the middleman, Shaheen. He says, tell him not to betray me just because he and Hadar go way back.
What's the calculation there, though? Why not just have Hadar killed? Why this elaborate business trap?
Because killing him is quick. It's an ending. It might even make him a martyr. Atesh's real goal is methodical destruction.
Humiliation.
Total humiliation. He wants to make Hadar go into an illegitimate business, just like old days, and have it lead him straight to a prison cell. He wants to strip him of his power, his reputation, his freedom.
Forcing him to live with a failure, that's a much more lasting punishment than a bullet.
It's a living death. And the funeral was the perfect distraction to make it all happen.
So with that family war just raging, Mercan is forced to confront the truth about the man she married.
Right. She starts her own investigation.
And it's not just about his crime. She needs to know his history. She steals a key, finds a hidden box, and inside is the clue.
Jivkat Orphanage.
That changes everything. It confirms Ateş isn't just some business rival. He's an embedded threat with roots in some kind of deep personal tragedy.
And as soon as she finds that clue, Ateş knows he's lost control of the narrative, so he has to get out ahead of it.
By staging this incredibly elaborate emotional performance, he takes Mercan to meet Isel, a former charity worker.
And the scene is just fascinating because it's this seamless blend of truth and manipulation.
Isel confirms he was there, at the orphanage, before 2005. She describes him arriving with intense anger and deep pain, which Mercan knows that part's genuine.
She even validates Mercan's own confusion about him. She talks about his dual personality, the compassion in your eyes versus the cruelty. It's the perfect way to earn Mercan's trust.
By confessing a controlled version of his trauma, he lets her feel like she's the one figuring him out.
Exactly. He even admits later to one of his guys that Isel was just playing a role, that the whole thing is a game, and Mercan seemed to buy it.
But, and this is the crucial point for analysis, the performance, the lie, it rests on a very real foundation.
It does. Isis privately admits that Isel was like a mother to me for years in that orphanage, and that he actually owes her everything.
So he's weaponizing a genuine, powerful connection from his past.
That debt he feels, it suggests Isel's loyalty goes way beyond just charity work. She's in on this dangerous revenge plot for a reason.
And we see that reason, that motive, solidified when Ateş visits a grave.
It's a quiet moment, but it's key. He's basically renewing his oath. He admits that Hadar burying his son Murat, that was not a part of the plan.
Which suggests Murat's death was maybe collateral damage or reactive.
Right. But he confirms the main mission is on track. He says, I'm keeping my promise to you. I'm making them pay.
That promise, made at a graveside, is the engine for this entire thing. It's what keeps the ruthless Tahir persona alive, even when Ateş is having doubts.
Meanwhile, Marin gets her own confirmation. She finds an old janitor from the orphanage, Mr. Ahmet.
And he identifies Ateş Fosana, calls him the most mischievous child in the orphanage.
And for Marin, that's it. She thinks she's found it, the key to his pain.
When really all she's found is confirmation that the pain is real. She hasn't even scratched the surface of the ongoing manipulation. She's exactly where Ateş wants her to be.
Precisely.
And just as we're trying to process the depth of that, the conflict just explodes again inside the other house.
Things get frighteningly personal when Aslı, Murat's sister, she just suddenly faints. They rush her to the hospital.
And the diagnosis isn't just stress or grief. It's poison.
Yes. The doctor confirms it. He says the symptoms seemed suspicious. They don't know what the poison is, but it was deliberate. Attempted murder.
And for the first time, she's really, truly distraught. This has hit her own family, her own daughter.
But Nermin, who is now completely consumed by vengeance, she sees it as justice.
Divine justice, she calls it. Her comment is just chilling. If you are happy with others' pain, the others will give you pain.
The emotional atmosphere in that house must just be toxic. You even get the perspective of the staff who are terrified they're going to get blamed.
There's that one servant who's worried Muzayn will hang us in the garden as a warning to the world.
That one line just shows you how absolute and terrifying the power of these families is. Paranoia has completely replaced reason.
And while all this is happening, Ateş, or Tahir, he's tightening his grip on Mercan.
It's not just about destroying the Yıldırım men anymore. It's about total control of the Karahan he married. He forbids her from seeing Nezir, her ex-fiancé, without his permission.
It's a psychological power play.
Hmm.
The physical destruction of one family is happening in parallel with the psychological subjugation of his wife.
He's isolating her, removing her entire support system.
And his final command to her is, it's a declaration of tyranny. There's no negotiation, no partnership. He just says, if your surname is Karahan, you have to do what I say.
You have to do it exactly as instructed. If I say don't, then don't. Period.
It's this assertion that his revenge requires her absolute, unquestioning obedience. Her own moral compass is irrelevant.
And that, that connects back to this idea of him rebuilding order. He's not just seeking justice for his sister anymore. He's trying to build a small, perfect, controlled world where he is the absolute authority.
To compensate for the chaos of his childhood.
Possibly. To compensate for losing his sister and being abandoned at that orphanage.
So, to summarize where we are, Ateş, as Tahir, has pulled off phase 1. But the cost is its internal doubt and an immediate counterattack from Nerman.
And Haydar is walking straight into a prison trap he can't see. This whole plot is spilling over now. The poisoning of Asla proves it's not contained.
And the identity Ateş revealed to Mercan was just another tool of control, culminating in that demand for total marital dominance.
The emotional complexity is just off the charts. You have Mercan fighting for some kind of moral justice, while Ateş is transforming from an avenger into a tyrant.
Which brings us back to Aysel and the orphanage. We learn that his connection to her was real, that he owes her everything. It suggests she was key to his survival.
So we have to end with this thought for you to consider. Given that Ateş is so meticulously manufacturing Haydar's downfall and establishing this absolute tyrannical control over Mercan, was the objective ever just justice for his sister?
Or is this really about him creating the total safe and controlled reality he lost as a vulnerable child? And maybe that control is the truest form of his vengeance.